Good evening, everybody. I'd like you today to do an exercise of visual imagination. In this space here, in three-dimensional space, hovering as if it was maybe a computer-generated image, let's say, imagine a fly, about that big, wings, 6 legs, antenna, multi-lens eye, all the rest of that, just floating and hovering and rotating in space. And over here, also visualize something else, okay? Visualize a banana, about this big, again, rotating in 3D space. Hold those two images together in your mind's eye, and very slowly imagine them coming closer and closer and closer and closer. And then, bam! Something wonderful will happen. Because in your mind's eye, ladies and gentlemen, I should end up appearing. That's right, me. Why is that? Well, that's because every single human being has some kind of genetic relationship with both bananas and flies. Yes, that is correct. Somewhere inside you, there is a fly waiting to come out and a banana waiting to be peeled, you might say. No, I kid you not. The reason I've given you this particular illustration is because prior to the birth of every single individual, there is a massive story which is so grand and powerful and beautiful that the greatest screenwriters of Hollywood would not be able to create it and fit it into 2 hours on screen. But after you have been born, there's another story, and it's no longer the story of the matter that makes up your body or the process of evolution which has sculpted the species that you belong to. Instead, it's something different. It's the story of the individual, growing, developing, interacting with other human beings, and learning what it means to be a better quality of person. And that is, of course, a story which I myself have also got one of, you might say. My mother used to tell me a story about when I was young, when I was in nursery school. And instead of looking forward to the day when we would all leave the classroom and go home to our mummies and daddies, I would be sitting at the bottom of the climbing frame with my best friend at the time, and we would be discussing the wonders of the universe, space travel, stars, planets, and wasn't 100 a really, really, really big number? Trying to do what we consider to be filling in the gaps in our education. I mean, after all, what could you actually learn from something like finger painting, for crying out loud's sake? Well, the desire for extra learning and knowledge didn't stop there, thankfully. And with the passage of time, I developed an even greater fascination with the way the world works, especially with electronics. I remember with a friend I had later on in life, going down a country road and finding an abandoned television set and smashing it open so we could steal the components from it and make our own circuits. Happy days. But something terrible happened to me a certain number of years ago. I was in my mid-teens and I started to develop a health problem which I still have to a certain degree. It's related to chronic fatigue syndrome, and I have been struggling with it ever since. It's a lot better now, thankfully. But that period of time in my life really opened up my heart to other people, to society, humanity. And I felt to myself that if I myself was suffering from quite so much, there must be hundreds, thousands, millions and billions of other people in the world who are also going through some kind of pain. And I somehow wanted my career to help other people, but I was at a loss as to how I should do it. I studied counselling, studied a bit of neuroscience. I studied sociology and psychology and politics on my access course, and then of course my degree was in sociology with psychology. So, all very people-centered things, because I was aware of the quantity of suffering in other people, because I was aware of the quantity of suffering in myself. I tried all kinds of normal jobs. And I tried normal businesses as well, because I had a desire to be self-employed. I knew that would fit my nature. But I couldn't quite work out which particular combination of ideas and skills I've always had I could put together Sure, I'd had strange experiences when I was young, but could I really use those as the foundation of my career? But one day, in what could be roughly called my early 30s, it's in the dead of the night, I logged onto a website and I entered in a name I created for myself, my stage name, Nick Dutch. And then, from that day, 5 years ago to this very month, Nick Dutch was created. And I still have inside me the desire to do good for other people. I still have inside me the awareness of the quantity of pain a lot of people are going through. And I still found a way to try and turn my career into one which could actually provide help to human individuals who are suffering emotionally. I can't help everyone, but I can use my skills, my knowledge, in a certain way to try and provide some people with some benefit. Not every single problem on the face of the planet, no. But some of them I can. And maybe in that dim, distant time sometime in the future, when I do leave this planet, so to speak, I'll be able to say to myself, I had a career which I used to try and help others. And that is the most important thing you'll need to know about Nick Dutch.